comes. Welcome to the fabulous Las Vegas Rotary Club. Our club continues to make a difference by teaching youth to succeed through literacy, education, and life skills development. My name is Michael Gordon, and I'm proud to serve as the 95th president of the greatest Rotary Club in the world. To kick off our meeting today, I would like to call to the front Blake Myers to lead us in our invocation.
Please join me in prayer. Almighty God, we thank you for the message spoken by all the world's great religions, that we are children of the living God and brothers unto each other. We thank you for the message of our respective faiths, that no man lives unto himself alone, and that we are indeed our brother's keeper. We ask that you bless us with the continuing wisdom to learn, the strength to lead, and the courage to resolutely confront the difficult decisions and issues that have such a profound effect on our lives and future well-being. Amen.
And we're going to recite the four-way test before we get the song, but Bob, coming up so long. And so you have the four-way test on the back of the wheel. So of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you. And now Bob Fisher to lead us in song.
Let's go back about 200 years to the American Revolution. A few of us were there. And join together in the singing of two great patriotic songs. But to begin with, everybody, stay together. Let's hear it. I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die, a real live nephew of my Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July. I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart, she's my Yankee Doodle joy. Yankee Doodle came to London just to ride the ponies. I am. We'll have to be a little bit louder. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony, stuck a feather in his cap and called macaroni. Yankee Doodle, keep it up. Yankee Doodle Dandy, mind the music and the stop. Hey!
I'm glad somebody had the words up here. So thank you, Bob. I don't think we've ever done that in our club, so thank you. You may be seated. Oh. Sorry. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Bob Fisher threw me off. That new song, it was... So, Mr. Sergeant at Arms today is Greg Maguire.
Yes, otherwise known as Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Yes. So you are jumping right into service, sir, and take it over to past President Brock Fraser to introduce our international visiting Rotarians.
We have two groups of guests with us. Both groups are from British Columbia, Canada. Ian and his wife, please stand. Introduce yourselves.
Thank you, Brock. I really admire the enthusiasm of your club here. It's quite amazing and really a nice turnout to see. Nelson Rotary Club is my home club. I've been a member since 1984. Again, what you're talking about with Rotary is we are doing something I couldn't do by myself, and it's just one of the best things I ever did in my life, and don't regret a minute of it. Thank you for having us, and your gracious welcome.
Welcome.
Great having you both. Thank you.
And then
our other guests, also from British Columbia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zhao. This is my wife, Hong. We are also from Vancouver. Our club is called the Corny Club. So we are a Linder developer there. And we try to maybe in future do a casino in Vancouver Island. So this is the reason why we come to Las Vegas. We want to learn. Thank you. Thank you for thank you.
Nice having you with us. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to visiting Rotarians. Any visiting Rotarians? Seeing none, let's move on. Oh, there is a visiting Rotarian? Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jordana Lane, and I am a member of the Las Vegas Southwest Club. And more importantly, I work with Francesca Gilbert. I've been a Rotarian for 2 years now, and I'm also the chairperson for community service. So thank you for having me, and it's great to see you all.
Any other visiting Rotarians? Okay, then let's move on to guests of Rotarians.
Hi, thanks, Greg. I would like to introduce my friend, Donna Fisher Brown, so she's a good last name, and Brown. And Donna's a small business owner. She owns Property Management, Inc. Franchise in Henderson.
Any other guests? Back there, Greg?
Good afternoon. Glenn Meyer here. I wanted to introduce my dear friend Nancy Gabriel, who is a mediator with the company Mediation Around the Table that she helped to found. 2 weeks ago today, I had an appointment to take Nancy to lunch for her birthday, and I called her up the afternoon before and said, you know, I just really, really, really feel the need to not miss Rotary today. And she was so gracious in letting me off the hook for my commitment to her that I said, you have to come back and you have to come to Rotary with me, and you still get a birthday lunch besides that. So please welcome Nancy.
Welcome. Other guests? Other guests? Okay, then let me introduce my guest at the head table, Superstar Principal, Katie Decker, who came to Las Vegas 28 years ago to work in Clark County School District, where, of course, she still works. She received her undergrad from Siena Heights University in Adrian, Michigan, and her master's in education administration from UNLV. Both her kids are also UNLV rebels. Son Jacob studies engineering, and daughter Ariel is in biochem. She's been coming to Rotary for 17 years and doing an amazing job all 17 years. Joining her is past President Karen, which I'm just going to say makes amazing pierogies, and that's her introduction. So please join me in welcoming all our visiting Rotarians and guests. Thanks to Tony and Jamie for setup, Jamel for greeting, tickets, of course, John and Marie, Blake for his invocation, Bob Fisher for his Yankee Doodle leading us in song, past President Jim Tucker for photography, and then Jamie and Tyler for teardown. So, Mr. Sargent, if you could take the microphone back to past President Brock Fraser for an update on one of our members.
Very good. Thank you. I'm really pleased this time to give you a little update on our wonderful friend, member, Ty Hilbrecht. The last time I was to see him, each time I've gone to see him, he progresses a little bit more. And it's gotten a little bit better and a little bit better. Phil and I were just talking. He's been to see him quite often, too. Don't know if we'll ever see him back here. He's got a long way to go. But the communications that Phil's had with him, that I've had with him, the last couple of visits have been better. We're going in the right direction. Let's just pray that we continue to go in that direction.
Thank you, Brock, for that update. And then if you could take it to Eric or Jerry Sennes, maybe Jerry Sennes, is David here today, to give us a feedback on the highway cleanup.
Wasn't a huge turnout, but we had a great time and look forward to it.
Closer.
Okay, well, anyway, it was didn't have a big turnout, but we got everything done, went back to my house and had a nice time over there. So, mission accomplished.
Thank you. And then, I don't know which one of these two ladies in front, Janice, Jamie, wants to give us an update on Wine to Water.
Hi, everyone. We had a beautiful event at Dr. Michael Williams' home, which is filled with artwork and antiques. And we had a great crowd for an amazing meal. The wine was wonderful, but the food was spectacular. Maybe I'm biased because Punjabi food is my favorite, but it was amazing, and it was prepared by Anil and his team. And we raised around $700. Our next quarterly event is going to be in January, so I hope that you guys will consider joining us for a lot of fun and fellowship. Did you want to say anything? Oh, we've already...
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for organizing that. And then if you could take it to the back, to Janet Linder to give us an update on the new member orientation, which she hosted on birthday eve. She did at her home.
Thank you. Yes, we had a really good turnout. What did we have, about 20 people? And I think we had fun, didn't we?
I mean, you had wine for 200 people there, so I don't know how many people were there.
Well, you know how the Linders are. And we just had, well, actually I was a slacker because they'd just torn up our kitchen and they were redoing our cabinets, and you know how that goes. And so I ordered pizza, but we had plenty of booze and wine. So welcome new members, and it's just the beginning of another adventure.
Well, thank you for hosting it on the day before your birthday. We appreciate that. It's a party all year, is what she said.
You guys definitely win the Best Bar Award, that's for sure.
It was impressive. Then if you could take it to our superstar principal, Katie Decker, over here to give us feedback on what she's been doing.
All right, just a little bit of work, but I brought with me my dream team of librarians. And I know that some of you might have been hearing that they cut the position of librarian in a lot of the schools. I refuse. They are invaluable members of our school staff, and they really are at the core of loving literacy, which we know is one of the most important things we can do for our kids. So I have Kenny Stewart. He's here from Howard Hollingsworth. Pam Oliveira is here from Walter B. Long, and Susie Davis from Walter Bracken. And they are awesome. Pam even snuck out, even though she has a book fair going on. That's how fabulously flexible she is. And we all have author visits this week. We had Bash the Trash at Howard Hollingsworth, thanks to the Smith Center. They were phenomenal. They made instruments out of trash. And then we have a couple authors coming tomorrow as well. So very exciting time right now at the schools, and we're working hard trying to recoup from the budget fun times.
Well, thank you for what you're doing and continue to do, Katie, for being a superstar. Now, Mr. Sargent, you can take a little break. I'm going to invite Paul Kruger and Bob Fisher to the front for some exciting news. And what do you guys want to do? Which side of the room do you want to go to?
Are you ready? We're ready, Bob. Go ahead.
We should have some applause.
Yeah.
Look
Well,
at this.
Wait a minute. Hold the applause. This isn't right. It says 1,925,000. Here, Bob. Let me get this right.
I'll hold the mic.
Okay.
Watch this.
We're really up here. 1,950,000.
What is that total?
$1,950,000.
We are.
Almost at $2 million.
That is great news, everybody. We are at 1.95. So if anybody's looking for a tax deduction before the end of the year, our local Rotary Foundation would certainly accept all of those donations. Thank you, our foundation board members, for what you do and for stewarding our donations. Thank you for that. And now I'll hand it over to Blake Myers and past President David Thorson.
Thank you. Fellow Rotarians and guests, as chair of the Membership Attendance and Recognition Committee, I've come before you at about this time every year to share with you some recognition of very special people. And every year we talk about those who have achieved perfect attendance. And occasionally I get asked the question, well, what's the big deal about attendance? So not long ago, I prepared some information in a report to the board, and I'd like to let you know about that. Why make such a big deal of meeting attendance? Being present at club meetings is one of the basic obligations a member accepts in joining a Rotary Club. Rotary is a participatory organization that highly values regular attendance. When a member is absent, the entire club loses the personal association with that member, and the member loses touch with the activities of the club. Attendance is the glue that holds the club together and provides the basic framework for service. It is a vital part of the operation and success of every Rotary Club. Now, over the last few years, we have seen a very noticeable increase in the number of you who have achieved perfect attendance. This year, we are going to present and recognize 24 people. Yes, that deserves a big round of applause. I've checked the past records, and this is by far and away an all-time high. Last year, by comparison, we had 17. So I'd like you, as we bring the folks up, to hold your applause until all have been introduced. Those of you who have not started on the path of perfect attendance, we would love to see you begin that journey, because we value all of you so much and your contributions to the club. We would like to see you here, and realize we're talking to the choir right now, as the old phrase goes. But if you haven't the opportunity to get here, there's a list in the wheel every week of the clubs where you can make up. And please, join this group of 24 special people, and we'd love to see you come up here next year. So, I'm going to introduce. These are in the order of the number of years perfect attendance, and we all have to start somewhere. So, with 1 year, perfect attendance, Kirk Alexander. Also 1 year, here he comes, Eric Astromecki. And he's already been up here, but we'll call back up Bob Fisher, 1 year. And another Kirk, Captain Kirk Holmes, 1 year. Also at her first year, Sidra Kane. I don't know if Sidra's here. 1 year, Steve Caspier. I didn't see him. And I don't know if Janice Linke is here. Yes, she is, right there. 1 year. And seated back in his normal position back there, Stuart Lipoff, 1 year. One of the first people everyone sees when they walk in the room at 2 years, Marie Walsh. Michael Williams, you're at 2 years. And we're moving up now. Francesca Gilbert, 3 years, perfect attendance. I didn't see Francesca. And I know Jaime Goldsmith is here at 3 years. Moving along to the 4-year mark, Paul Kruger. There he is. At 5 years, starting to get up there now, Aaron Campillo. Our next perfect attendee isn't going to have to walk very far. Please hand yourself a certificate, David, for past president for 5 years. Climbing up the ladder, John Ingemi, 6 years. Where was John? He's here. There he is. Arlene Sirois at 6 years. President Michael at 8 years. There he is. Moving up to 9 years, Bob Barnard. Where he is. How do you do, Bob? At 10 years, Mary Ann Avnet. She is not here. We're jumping up to 12 years. And I didn't see him here today, Bob Werner. Our past president, Karen Wisenhut, and if I might have your attention for this number, pretty spectacular, 20 years, perfect attendance. And he probably knows who's coming next. At 21 years, past president Russ Swain. And the last packet I have here, at 24 years, I'm happy to accept this one. We're going to really have to. We're going to have to squeeze this one in.
Yeah, too bad.
Stand up on your chair. Congratulations to all our 100% attendance awardees. As the advice in life, showing up is half the battle, right? So thank you all for showing up week in and week out. Now please enjoy 7 minutes of fun and fellowship. Welcome back. As you may or may not know, this coming Tuesday, October 24th, is World Polio Day. And through Rotary's efforts over the last 30 years, polio is only endemic in 3 countries. We have eradicated polio 99%. And for our efforts, and thanks to our board member, Rob Tellez, I'm holding here today a proclamation by Governor Sandoval thanking our club for our efforts in eradicating polio worldwide. So to see what you've done, I would like Kirk Holmes to play a short little video.
For each of us, there are moments that define us. Moments where we fought for what we believed.
The moment Berliners have waited 28 years for.
When we pushed the boundaries to the unknown. Moments that remind us of a past we cannot accept, and that create within us the desire to take a stand and do something. 30 years ago, polio was claiming the lives of hundreds of thousands of children just like me. There was a vaccine that could help stop it, but it wasn't reaching all of us. Until you decided to step in and do something. You decided to find a way to reach us all, no matter where in the world we might be. It all started with one small project, and 6 million children were saved from polio, forever. The world took notice, and things began to change. On streets, on trains, planes, boats and bicycles, over deserts and rivers, mountains and valleys, through jungles and war zones, you never stopped. But it can't end here. We are this close, the closest that we've ever been. 3 countries remain, and we must continue to strive to reach every last child. Because every life truly does matter. And together, you have proved that when you put service above self, the world can be a much better place.
Since 1985, Rotary has been the foundation on which the polio eradication program is built.
Last year, we saw just 37 cases, the lowest number in history.
Thanks to your efforts, more than 16 million people are walking today who would otherwise have been paralyzed.
Thanks to your vision, humanity is on the verge of one of the greatest public health achievements in history.
While our work is not yet done, the remarkable dream that you had 3 decades ago to tackle one of the world's greatest public health challenges, the end of polio, is nearly a reality.
Thanks to you, we truly are this close to ending polio.
Thanks to you, we are truly this close to ending polio.
So as you know, polio eradication is Rotary International's corporate effort. And as you heard, for more than 30 years at the Rotary International Convention in Atlanta, what we do has been noticed by the World Health Organization, by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Bill Gates himself was there and pledged to match every single dollar that Rotarians give 2 to 1, up to $300 million. So that is the goal. So next week, next Thursday, and let me also say, since I've been in this club and since I work was the international director, our club has always been number one in giving in our district to polio. Number one. And I would like to continue that tradition. So next week, thanks to the polio pig that past President Russ started, we're going to move that around, and you are free to donate or not to donate. It's your choice. In honor of World Polio Day next week. We will have that at next Thursday's meeting. Mr. Sargent, if you could jump back into action and take it here up front.
Back in action.
To past President Karen Wisenan to talk about our other international project, the soccer tournament.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. Yes, I know it's a ways away, but I need your help. The Mayor's Cup, which we participate in every year, is February 17th to the 19th, and as usual, we will be hosting boys from Germany from February 15th to the 20th. We host them in our homes, and we take them to the soccer tournaments and take care of them. So we'll be looking for families for 24 boys age 15 and 16 years old. So if you're interested in it, please let me know.
And next, can you take it to past President Jim Hunt to tell us about our favorite day of the year?
Well done, Jim. Here we go.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, past President. President Michael. No, you're not passed yet. We're not putting you out to pasture yet.
I know some people wish that.
Yeah. We had a tremendous kickoff last week. The generosity of our members never ceases to amaze me. Pause and smile. Okay, come on, Greg. Get in here. Okay. We had a tremendous kickoff financially along the lines of reaching goals and breaking records. We're going to be breaking all kinds of records, it looks like, this year. Our Santa Claus committee is its largest it's ever been with the addition of Chris Bennett. He's working hard with Karen Wisenhunt on some backpacks for the kids, a new addition that we'll be doing this year. All of our committee members are working very hard right now. We secured another arrangement with Toys for Smiles. We're going to make a donation to them. They're going to give us 400 cars for the kids, which will be amazing. We're working on still trying to get some more dental kits at UNLV. Everything's in full swing. I want to make another announcement today, though, along the lines, record number of organizations, 12 different organizations we're going to be helping. As I mentioned last week, we're adding the Las Vegas Rescue Mission this year, some kids from there. And we're also adding kids from Ruby Thomas Elementary, largely in part due to the Southwest Rotary Club that we want to say a big thank you to and welcome Jordana Lane, who's our liaison with them. They're going to be joining us this year with 12 kids at the Galleria, 12 kids at the Grand Canyon Mall for a record number of invited kids. This is one of the largest leaps we've ever done. Usually we maybe add 5 or 10 kids each year if we can find a way to fit them in. This year we're adding 34 more kids for a record number of 364 kids. So pretty amazing. So with that in mind, I want to say thank you again to Jordana Lane and the Southwest Rotary Club, because here's their sponsorship check for 24 of those kids for $2,400. So thank you to them very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
The only thing that I'll ask is that to keep in mind, since we're adding all these kids, that means we need all these bodies to help shop. So if you've signed up and the clipboard's coming around and, you talked about Santa Claus to your family members, your brother, your sister, your uncle, and you can get them to help us shop, please do. We are going to need bodies like never before this year. So please make sure you sign up. If your name's blank in there, we had a great kickoff, but we are, of course, hoping for 100% participation so we can get this thing really rolling. And our goal, again, is to go over $1 million this year of goods and services purchased. So we're on a roll. Let's go. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. It seems amazing already.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
And then that night, so after an amazing morning, that night, as is our tradition, we're going to have our holiday party. So if you can take it to the microphone to Jaime Goldsmith or Janice Linke, who wants to do it? One of you two? Talk about our holiday party.
Hi, everybody. We're going to have the holiday party at Treasure Island and the Antilles Ballroom AB. That's where we had David Thorson's amazing debunking. We're going to have a surf and turf option as well as a vegetarian option. So for the vegetarians, we've got a veggie Napoleon, and then surf and turf is a petite filet with a shrimp skewer, asparagus, and risotto. And then our pastry chef's going to make some eggnog cheesecakes. It's going to be really delicious. And that's December 7th at 6 p.m.
Dress code is TBD, right? We're still thinking about a theme. We're still working on a theme.
Swimsuits.
You first, Greg. You first. And then actually do take it to Janice Linke to talk about the ad space in the wheel.
Okay, I actually have a question. I see the one box, there was a little bit of a discrepancy last week. It says this space has been taken. So we really have two open. So who's going to take these 2 extra spaces in the wheel? Anyone? I'll take one. You're going to take one?
Yes.
Thank you
There
so
you go.
much. That's why I love sales. Thank you so much. So you're going to take the one that you can pick which one. There's a brightly colored one. You like the colorful one. Okay, good. So we're down to 1 spot. So please let us know anyone who's able to take that extra spot. Thank you.
And let me say that thanks to the generosity of our members, that helps to pay for the wheel. So all that money is used for all our projects. So thank you for your support of our club. Next up, if you could take it to Kirk Holmes to talk about the canned food. Okay, Eric Astromecki to talk about our canned food drive that's coming up here in just a week's time.
Absolutely. So I assume, raise your hand if you have your costume picked out already, that you're arriving to our costume party at next Friday. I don't see very many prepared people. All right, well, in case you didn't know, we have a Halloween party going on next Friday. It's at 6:30 p.m. It's at the Distillery in Henderson. There is no cost to get in, so I encourage all of you guys to show up. There is a sign-up list going around where we're asking for 100% participation donations. We'll have a Chinese auction there with really cool raffle prizes, as well as a costume contest. So I need all the jokesters, the tricksters, all the fun, scary ideas you can have to come to this event. It's going to be a great time. Not only is our club going to be there, but we have every LVIP Dining shot this out to their group of people they work with. So we're expecting a bunch of different organizations to kind of come together and help us raise a bunch of money to go towards the canned food drive. So once again, next Friday, 6:30 p.m. Look forward to seeing all of you guys there. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, call me, anything at all. Yep.
Does everybody know what a Chinese auction is? Okay, it's where there's actual Chinese food containers. They don't have food in them. They're just containers. You buy your ticket and you put it in the item that's displayed that you want to win the most. So the more tickets you put, the better chances you have. So far, Eric has, we just thought we'd highlight a couple of the items. We're going to have some restaurant certificates. We also have the helicopter sunset tour for 2 people. And we have Hard Rock Cafe has donated some Elvis Pilsner glasses. So there's a lot of cool things for the Chinese auction, and it's always a lot of fun.
Thanks. Thank you, Janice, so much for that. So once again, we'll try this again. Who's raising their hand that they're going to be there next Friday? All righty. Next Thursday, we're going to see a few more hands up. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you. And then if you could take it to Marie Walsh to talk about the Beckley Harvest Festival and Breakfast with Books.
Thank you, President Michael. First of all, I really would like to thank John and Jemmy and Jackie Thornhill and Tony Kern for the great job they did with Breakfast with Books. I was unable to be there, and they came through with flying colors. I really, really appreciated it. The totals were given to you last week by the principal, but I'd like to reiterate, there were 180 children, 121 adults, and a total of 301 participants, and that is really outstanding. I'd also like to make mention that tomorrow night is the Harvest Festival at Beckley. It's from 4:30 to 7:30. I'd like to thank the people. They're making fun of my accent, but anyway. Sorry, but that...
What festival was it again?
Sorry, the Harvest Festival. Not harvest, the Harvest
Harvest.
Festival. Harvest Festival. Okay, thank you. So anyway, I'd like to also thank the people that brought in candy for the children. It's greatly appreciated. If you can come by tomorrow night between 4:30 and 7:30, if you only can give us an hour or whatever you can give us, will be greatly appreciated. And naturally, it's a Beckley. Thank you.
So then you can be seated. Then I would like to just inform the club of what has happened. I've received some questions on what is happening with our victims services fund and the money that we've raised throughout the world, and actually we're getting a check from New Zealand, we had interest from Israel, for the funeral payment. So our club has paid for 3 funerals for the victims, and you've probably seen in the newspaper and via all media that Zappos is now also jumping on that bandwagon, helping to pay for the funerals, which is awesome. We want to help people. We're not in competition. We're not doing it to toot our own horn. We just want to help. And since they are taking care of the majority of the finances for that, the foundation board has decided to redirect our efforts, which is still within the press release that went out, to 2 specific areas. One is to help pay for the medical costs, both physical and emotional costs of the victims. And then number 2, to help with the survivors. We have heard stories that one person specifically have lost their job because they have a relative that is in critical care, still recuperating. So these people need gift cards, airfare, just loss of income. And because our club is so awesome, and our club is not just the check writing club, I don't care what anybody says, our club is a hands-on club. Bob Fisher came up with an amazing idea, and he's going to inform you about that, something that I think we've never done and is a wonderful opportunity.
We are very much aware, as Michael said, we have to let the dust settle because there is so much money that is being raised. And it is very important to the foundation that any of the money that this club donates and gives has accountability. And that is, so right now we're slowing things down. I think eventually what may happen is that one of the things that we will probably get involved in, and this is something that the foundation will present once it's really, again, we're going to have to wait a few months to see exactly what's happening because there is so much money and there are so many corporate people that are putting a lot of money there. One of the things we're thinking long term is that there's an awful lot of people in Las Vegas who were there, who did survive, but have emotional problems. And it's going to take a long time, and it's very expensive. That's one of the areas we're talking about. However, for right now, if you use the example of Brock, or you use the example of Ted, or you use the example, if you remember, Irwin sent a greeting here before he had passed away. There are still 2 of the 3 hospitals who have people still there that could use a few people coming and visiting, just being there and talking, and that. One of the hospitals prefers at this point in time not to have anybody, but there still are 2 hospitals with people. If you are interested during the day, for example, for an hour, during the evening, for example, for an hour, perhaps on the weekend for an hour, let anybody from the foundation, or if you want, you do it through Michael, you do it through me, but we're going to try over the next week and see if we can visit some of the people who are here. But as we know, it's going to take a long, long time. But one of the things the foundation feels very strongly is we've got to let all this money settle to find out where it's going to be going. And you have the word from the foundation board. Whatever is going to be given is going to be accounted for.
Yes, correct. Everything has a statement and a counter check with it. And let me add to Bob Fisher, as you feel comfortable, the need that was expressed to us that we were made aware of is that people just want to talk. You don't need to have a degree in counseling. You don't need to pray if you don't want to pray with them. They just want to talk. They just want somebody else there to talk to tell them about what's going on in the world. Yes, Arlene. The 2 hospitals are Sunrise and Valley. And what we have heard again from the Salvation Army is that the personnel there really welcomes volunteers coming in and talking to people. So that is, we'll send out an email, probably get a date or a time, and then we can just meet there if your schedule allows. And really, it's your time. That's all that we want, your time, and just to make small talk with people. So, do you have a question? Okay. And then we're moving on to our raffle. So our raffle drawing, the number is 888-4866. 4866. Matt Nelson. Seven of spades, so the pot grows. And for our $50 in Larry bucks is 4914. 4914. Bob Fisher. Pause and smile.
Where's Marie? Thank you. You picked it out.
Pause and smile. There you go. Thank you. And now to introduce our speaker for the day, past President Steve Linder.
Thank you, President Michael. Well, for those of you who have been here for a long time, when you think of Las Vegas, you can't help but think of Pat Christensen. He's been here 33 years, as you can read in his bio. He's done over 3,000 events. He's been involved in the Thomas and Mack Center, Cox Pavilion, Sam Boyd Stadium, and now he's a published author. So please give a warm Rotary welcome to Pat Christensen.
Thank you. All I can say is, wow. I, as a citizen in Las Vegas, hear about Rotary and what Rotary does, but to sit through a meeting and to see it in action. I think I did this 10 years ago. Don't do it often, but when I get the call, I'm always interested. But it's not just, it's kind of the way you go about your business. I love the attendance thing. I mean, that's commitment. That's demonstrated commitment, and that. But also, I'm hearing 34,000 of these clubs, Rotary clubs across the country, 1.2 million total involved, and over 100 members right here, which is one of the larger memberships. And to see the assistance with polio, and then all of the local stuff, I just sincerely appreciate all that you do. In fact, I'd like to do is, how many of you have been to the National Finals Rodeo? Okay, a lot of you, but not all, maybe half. So I'd like to donate a couple tickets to the next, and you guys can raffle them off any way you want. There'll be downstairs plaza seats for one performance of the NFR. Again, hopefully one lucky person here. But again, I appreciate all that, sincerely listening to everything you guys do. I appreciate it. I want to talk a little bit about events in Las Vegas events. Las Vegas events, I joined Las Vegas events in 2001. It's a nonprofit. It's a private nonprofit group. And the purpose of the privacy is so that we can compete against other cities for these events. It's funded by the hotel tax. It's been like that since 1983. We have 11 board members, 6 of which are hotels representation. And our sole mission is to secure events for Las Vegas. So when it was created in 83, it was just that, to secure events. Since then, in 2007, actually right around the recession, what we did is sharpen that mission a little bit. And not only do we now secure events, but we ensure their success. So, like any business, it's easier to bring an event back, to continue to have a customer, keep a customer, than to go get a new one. So part of our mission isn't just to go ahead and invest in an event. It's literally to get involved with it and to ensure its success. And it's one of the reasons why there aren't many cities in the world that sustain events like we do. And I think we kind of take that for granted. The National Finals Rodeo has been here for 33 years, 10 days. A lot of cities might land the Super Bowl one year. They might land the Final Four one year. But very few of them have the type of events that we do that we sustain on a yearly basis. And that economically is so critical to what we do. We have a staff of 15. They are, these 15 people and another 3 interns work have such great expertise.
are so passionate about the success of these events that ensuring their success, these people are really a critical part of that. But they manage all aspects of the event. We have a marketing director. We have a event operations director. We have a event development. We have finance. We have someone that goes out and collaborates with all the hotels for sponsorship, especially with the National Finals Rodeo. So it's not just an organization that looks for events, looks to do them one year. What we like to do is get them here and keep them here. Our staple event, the biggest event we do by far, is the National Finals Rodeo. And again, we do big events. We do National Finals Rodeo. We do Electric Daisy Carnival. We have a lot of events we do. But the critical piece, the critical importance of the National Finals Rodeo is that it is in December. When before it came here, we were furloughing employees, doing maintenance. So it was a really down period. So economically, to keep those the month of December strong, especially the beginning of December, is critical to Las Vegas. But when we adopted this, ensure their success, we took the NFR to another level. And let me tell you how we did that. We've had a string of 32 sold out National Finals Rodeo. Back from the first 85, 86 didn't sell out. 87 on is sold out. So you can't get a ticket. And we started doing the broadcast, the live satellite feed. And it was just that. So we used that. We integrated a lot of different hotel partners. In fact, we have 40 hotel partners now. And we created what we call the NFR experience. And many of you might have touched, maybe you don't go to the NFR, but you might have gone to something around the NFR in December. You would be like a lot of tourists. Since we started this, we have 2 times as many people without tickets to the NFR in town as we have go to the NFR. So the experience is really, I compare it to a huge music festival, only it's 150,000 rooms, the Strip downtown and all of Las Vegas. And what happens is you literally have 3, I call it 3 shifts of fun all day long. If you haven't, how many of you been to Cowboy Christmas at the convention center? There is no Western lifestyle experience, shopping experience that comes close to Cowboy Christmas. We have people, so we do 250,000 people a year through Cowboy Christmas. I'll bet you, 30,000 of them come here just to shop. They're not going to the NFR. They're coming here to shop. So you have that, you have Country Christmas, you have shopping experiences. Michael Gaughan started an event out at the South Point, a team roping event that has bigger prize money than the NFR. They have $10 million in prize money. 7,000 teams compete for $10 million in prize money with that event. Orleans has a rodeo event, and now they're starting a barrel racing event. So the economics of this and the importance of the NFR is that we keep building it. This year there'll be 60 different country acts. So you've got the day with all of the shopping, team roping, all the Las Vegas activities. You have the night with the NFR itself, if you're lucky enough to get a ticket. If not, there are 40 viewing parties. These viewing parties include some of the contestants show up at these viewing parties. So the NFR is kind of our staple for signature events. The economics of these events, and I'll put it in simple terms, we look at the direct spend of our customers. A typical visitor is about $900 is what they spend. An event customer is average $1,500. And the National Finals Rodeo is closer to $2,300. So that's the spend, just the direct spend on the hotel, entertainment. But look at the economics of that. Anybody that comes to Las Vegas, once they step off that plane, is generating taxes for us. Whether it's the live entertainment tax, whether it's a hotel tax, whether it is a rental car, whether a taxi, whether food, anything, you're generating taxes which all go back. So in addition to that direct impact, you have all these other impacts. When we look at it that way, when we look at what events we secure, for the most part, we're looking at those events that are going to bring people at a time when we need the business, and at a time and the right type of a customer for that event. Some of our events, I'll just start at the beginning of the calendar year. We shoot off the fireworks on New Year's Eve. We produce the fireworks on New Year's Eve. And really it's just we work with Grucci, and we pick 7 rooftops a year. It's an 8.5-minute show, and with a different theme every year, and it really entertains the 250 to 300,000 people that are on the Strip. USA Sevens, I don't know how many of you have ever been out to see the rugby, but it is, it's fast, and it's kind of, they've done what we've done with the NFR in that there's so much entertainment around the rugby out there. It's an international flavor. They have a festival out there. They have a rugby tournament as part of it. So USA Sevens is 16 international teams competing for, there's I believe 12 of these across the world, and they're all competing to vie to win the USA, or excuse me, this Rugby Cup. Who was the winner? You know, I can't remember who last year, but New Zealand.
I'm pretty sure it was South Africa. I may be wrong.
But South Africa, New Zealand's always strong. United States was a little better this last year, but it will be an Olympic sport coming up. So sevens is another one, and especially because it is an international sport also. In the spring we do the NASCAR. Starting in 2018, we'll have 2 races. We'll have a race in the spring, and then we'll have a race in the fall. Also, we do 4 conference basketball tournaments. We do the Pac-12, the Mountain West Conference, the WAC, and the WCC. So we have quite an impact at that time of year with college basketball. We've done in the past. We've done the World Cup jumping and dressage. We've done that 6 times. If you haven't been that, it's interesting because I contrast the National Finals Rodeo and the World Cup jumping, which is really dancing horses, and jumping horses. It's 2 different events, but I contrast that to the National Finals Rodeo as Beauty and the Beast. I mean, you look at what we do during the NFR is very raw, and what we do during the World Cup is very, very beautiful and timely. In the summer, the NBA Summer League has grown from 5,000 people the first year. I remember when we did it the first year, there were guys that weren't even wearing the same uniform. I mean, it was like the goal of it then was to get to look at rookies, to look at some players, and 1 or 2 players were going to come out of that and make the team. And what we pushed for, and the NBA listened to, was let's make this more fan-friendly. So little by little, it grew into now it's competition. Now you can win. Now there's an MVP. Now you can win the whole tournament. Last year we did 125,000 people. So that has grown. And again, summer is a time where we're looking for work for tourists. We do over 30,000 kids come here for basketball, which we have nothing to do with. But if you look at basketball and what it used to be and what it is now, with our conference basketball terms, with the summer league, we do USA Basketball. We do a game with them every year. The music festivals, Life is Beautiful. We started with Vegas about in 2007, which kind of fizzled out for a number of reasons. But we came back strong in 2011 with Electric Daisy Carnival. That's 400,000 people, 135,000 a night that get out to the Speedway. Now, how many of you here have been to the EDC? Well, we have here, this is a much younger crowd who likes a lot of bass. That's what you get at EDC, right? So I find, I don't mind bass, I kind of like bass, so I'm out there, but that event there is nobody in the entire world that has created an experience for these fans like that event. Their stage, their third stage, is bigger than Coachella or Bonnaroo's. The experience is more like I wouldn't call it an adult Disneyland because these are still kids, but it is more energetic. more creative. Pasquale Rotello, who created this 25 years ago, has built this into the number one live music experience, live festival experience in the world. Our big local event, Life is Beautiful, like most festivals, had some growing pains, but it turned the corner this year. Drew 50,000 people a night, 18 square blocks downtown, and it will, it is breaking even. It's on its way to sustainability. Again, our goal is sustainability. We did Rock in Rio, took a shot at Rock in Rio. Unfortunately, the event was too expensive, considering the sponsorship they were able to get. But boy, we had Taylor Swift, Metallica, Bruno Mars, another great event. Trying to think of any of our other. If I'm leaving anything, I'm sure I'm leaving some events about. But I want to give you guys some time. But so I want to talk a little bit about venues, and then I'll open up for questions, because it was difficult for us for a while, because Thomas and Mack Center was really the only venue, and then Orleans was built, South Point. So when you look at the diversity of the venues here, it's really opening up the things we can do. Now with T-Mobile, we can do 4 conference basketball tournaments in the same week because we have the venues to do it. T-Mobile with the conference basketball, and then all of the other things that T-Mobile does that aren't our special events. So you have all these venues, you have a lot of live music venues, but really the icing on the cake is going to be the new stadium. And let me give you my perspective, because I look at it purely economically, the stadium. Everything beyond that, people will ask me, I really can't afford to go to these concerts. Some of these events are so high priced. And I said, well, how much would it be if you had to go to LA to see that show? What's happening is all the hotels are putting together these events, and in order for Vegas to be as strong as it is, the artist walks away with a lot of money. So 80% of these acts now that are going to concerts and festivals in Vegas, 80% of them are coming from out of town. They're all economic generators. But if it weren't for the venues, if it weren't for the theaters, we wouldn't be doing that. The stadium, there's a lot of controversy, as there should be. There should be some due diligence. The way I look at it, we spent $750 million to get a $1.9 billion stadium, because that is our stadium. And with it, we got a team, the Raiders, who have who potentially could bring 30,000 visitors themselves. I'm not talking about the events. So take that $1,500 number I used and multiply it by 30,000, actually by 300,000 over the 10 times. That's a huge. No other city in the country gets those type of economics from its contribution. In addition, there'll be 14, 15. There'll be a Super Bowl for sure. There'll be. We'll go after a national championship game. We'll go after international. Any event that's out there now, we have an opportunity to pursue. So it's exciting for me, one, I moved here in 1980, worked at Thomas and Mack Center. I've gotten the opportunity to be around as this city kind of continues to recreate itself. And this next one, with the renovation and expansion of the convention center in 2020 and the new stadium, it's going to be another jump to the next level. So with that, I'll open it for questions.
Wait for the microphone.
Thank you. Great presentation. You talked extensively on the NFR, but what you didn't talk about was the amazing job you folks and our hotels did when Orlando came at us with all guns blazing, and we, thanks to you guys, prevailed.
Thank you. And I didn't mention Route 91, but I will now. What's ironic about that incident is there's probably no better example of how secure a venue could be than that event for a festival. And what had to happen in order for them to penetrate that, they had to go 400 yards away. They did something we didn't think about and weren't prepared for. But I can tell you, we will be from now on. I don't see this city, I don't see, Route 91 will happen. All of our festivals and events will happen. We have the Rock and Roll Marathon, another event I forgot to mention. 45,000 runners down the strip at night. And we are going to do that event in November. 300,000 visitors on the strip at night on New Year's Eve. We're going to do that event. And what I'm proud about living in this city is being involved with these, not only people that can dream and change this experience and adjust with what we have, but the meticulous way Metro and everyone else works. If you went behind the scenes and looked at what they do to secure this city 365 days a year and for our special events, you'd just be so proud. But again, we've got another challenge, and this city will definitely be there to take that challenge.
So we had a presentation a week ago from the Regional Transportation Commission about some of their plans to improve transportation around the valley. And I've been involved for over 10 years with the Consumer Electronics Show. One of the complaints from everybody who's involved with that is the city is paralyzed with respect to being able to move people around during that event. I gather with things like the National Finals Rodeo, it's more spread out, but I just wonder if you would comment about the extent to which investments in better transportation, mass transit, monorails, light rail would make a difference to make Las Vegas more competitive for some of the events that are involved.
Yeah, absolutely would. You look around the valley. If you travel around the valley, it's really seamless, except the traffic hours. But when you get into the corridor, you get into the Strip corridor, we have gridlock at times. And CES is a great. Any of the big, the NFR is only 17,000 people at Thomas and Mack, and we transport 40% of that by bus from the hotels for free. And the reason we did that is, I think we started it 10 years ago. Well, we were just getting backup traffic. So the only way to alleviate that was to do something like that, where most of it was mass transport. We've got to get this. The valley's got to get to the point where we do park and rides. We've got to get to the valley where we do some more mass transportation, whether it's light rail. But those are all things I know they're looking at, and I know this is an urgent matter, especially for the economics of the event of not just our events, but Las Vegas 365 days a week. I know, again, I don't have any real details of where we're at with any of that, except I've attended a lot of meetings in which it's become a very serious issue.
One more.
Can you just give us a little idea what goes into planning, when multiple events are going on? Just the thought of having a football game going on, a hockey game going on at T-Mobile, and a concert across the street from the Excalibur or what have you. It just seems like it could be a potential nightmare. Is there any communication to try to coordinate so they're not all going to go on at the same time or anything like that?
Well, absolutely. In fact, the hockey team does not want to be playing hockey on the day of a Raider game. And then fortunately, Sunday, Monday, Thursday is football, and hockey has 42 games. So we definitely, as a city, will be scheduling around those big impacted events. But it's going to happen sooner or later. It may not be a hockey game. It may be a concert at T-Mobile. Fortunately, what's happened with T-Mobile is if you've gone, I went to the home opener for the Golden Knights, and I was really surprised how I got in so quickly, because I'd been getting in quickly for the concerts, but the concerts are 80% tourists. So, but to have a local crowd like that and to be able to manage that, I went for the USA basketball game the year of this past summer, and I waited an hour and a half to get in. So they fixed it, and there's a system in place with the garages, and there will be a system in place by the time that Raiders Day. And I hope, and I'm one that thinks less parking is better. The more parking you have, the more people want to drive to the event, the longer you're going to wait to get out. The one parking lot's a mile away, the MGM lot. I mean, there's so much parking along the strip that is a mile to the state. I went to U.S. Bank Stadium to see U2 and walked. There was no parking. In fact, they had to purchase parking from garages for the VIP stuff. So I'm one that thinks less parking is better, and I think we'll manage that.
Which year are we getting the Super Bowl?
Don't know. I would think though, probably not 21, 22. Good chance.
Okay, sure. Do you want to tell them what I asked, the question?
Oh yes, when are we getting the Super Bowl? Hopefully the same year the Raiders are in the Super Bowl.
Sure. So thank you, Pat. I want to thank you for speaking to us and enlightening us of what's going on, and present you with our Share What You Can award, where we will present a meal to a homeless vet in your name.
Thank you.
So pause. And thank you very much for your donation of the tickets. So we will be auctioning those tickets next week for the NFR. So come with your checkbooks for next week. And then, like I say, Rotary is like tennis. The one who serves best usually wins. Now go forth and make a difference.